Another goodie, do eating nuts really make you fat? Let's talk about it. Will they make you fat? So cashews, Brazil nuts, peanut butter, all that sort of stuff. The problem that I have with a high fat diet or diet with a lot of fats in there is just that they're calorie dense. I don't think that they're a bad fuel source. I don't hate them whatsoever. But a lot of people can overestimate or underestimate how much fat they actually have in their diet, and that can have really damaging effects in terms of your calorie deficit if you choose to be in a caloric deficit in order to lose weight. So for every G of fat, it's about, it's 9 calories, okay? For every gram of carb, it's 4 calories. The number of calories per gram is like double what it is in fat. So it's really important to understand what you're using and when you're using it in order to see your fat loss results. Now, with fat loss, the key to it is to keep a really full stomach throughout the day in order to not feel hungry so you don't binge eat or eat in other foods, I suppose, that might not be optimal for your fat loss. The easiest way to do that is eating foods that are carbohydrate dense. So fruits, vegetables, all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't know about you, but 100 grams of nuts has, I think, an obscene amount of calories, like 300 or 400 calories in 100 grams. Now, 100 grams of nuts is like a really, really small amount, like something like that, like maybe even a palmful, give or take, right? As you can imagine, if we're having 100 grams of nuts versus 100 grams of watermelon, you can see where in the watermelon, it's about 30 calories versus the 100 gram of nuts, it's about 300 or 400 calories in that. Can you see where I'm getting at? In that sense, it's really challenging to try and create a deficit when there's so much margin for error available in the food choices that you're making. Now, you're not going to always be walking around with a scale, so it's really important to understand the art of eyeballing or the art of smart food choices when you are in a dieting phase. My preference is always going to be carbs, just purely because of the caloric density. Now, you might be someone that's really good at weighing things, measuring things, and portion controlling things, so maybe you want some more fats in your diet. That is entirely up to you. My preference and my intuition tells me, and my experience with my clients tells me, that a higher carb, higher protein diet is much, much better for fat loss. Everybody's different, but these are some of the reasons why. It is purely for caloric density. Caloric density is king when it comes to fat loss. And if you're having foods that aren't very calorically dense, and you really enjoy them, you're gonna have a really, really good chance at losing fat over a sustained period of time. If you're having foods that are very calorically dense, you're gonna have a harder time trying to lose fat because the margin of error is really high. Doesn't mean you're wrong or right, it just means one is just a smarter choice, just by logically understanding that if you're full, you're not likely to eat a lot of food versus, if you're having nuts and that sort of stuff, you can have 100 grams and you might be full within sort of the next hour or something like that. Hope this video helps, and if it didn't, yourself. Team, if you liked that video, be sure to click here for your next video or here for something that you may like. All that sort of stuff, and make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to make sure you get all our videos. We make at least one video daily on a different topic. See you on the next one.